So we're on our way to our first movie.
First movie ever.
Ever.
I've never seen movies before.
We've never. This is
What's
just,
a theater?
I believe it's a place for people go to have casual sex with strangers.
Oh, no, yeah, I've been to one of those. No theaters here?
And we're on our way to see Don't Be Afraid of the Dark. This is our first review of hopefully many. I don't think we've actually mentioned this yet. The name of our group is going to be Plot, Dialogue, and Boobs.
No.
Yes, that's what we agree upon. There was a vote.
There was a definite vote with a partial group.
I'm pretty sure you just voted with everyone who you knew would be like.
I did not. Dylan was not okay with it, but we still voted with it.
Why was Dylan not okay with it?
Because it's kind of a silly name.
Because he was
Yeah,
pissed he didn't come up with it.
What is she doing to that tree?
She's making sure it doesn't hurt anyone ever again.
So these swirls have significance in the movie because the little girl draws them a lot throughout the film. And we happened to see these on the doors as we were leaving, and we had some fun with that.
There was 0 boobs in this movie.
Which one?
The one you just saw.
Since it's your first one, I think you should all like introduce yourselves.
Alright. It's Patrick. Joe.
Hey.
Constable the Bunny. Purvis.
You can't really see Purvis well.
Well, he's there.
Pervy Santa. Purvis the elephant. Barry White the panda. I'm Jose. Welcome. Well, we just got back from seeing, Joe didn't go. He pussied out.
I
You
don't
should-
like scary movies.
You should probably scoot forward, Patrick. You guys want to...
You saw that.
Hello. Yeah, Joe called me up. He's like, I think I called Joe up. Hey, do you want to come see this film? And Joe's like, oh, is it Don't Be Afraid of the Dark? I'll call you back. And then it was just like, he's gonna go watch the trailer, see that jump scare, and then not show up at all. That's
Well,
what
it started
happened.
off, I was listening to the radio, and they were interviewing the woman who plays in this movie.
Katie Holmes.
And they played a clip from the movie, which happened to be the clip where someone was chiseling someone's teeth out while they were still alive. I
was
heard
at the
that on
very
the
beginning,
radio,
yeah.
and I was like, nope, I'm not going to see this movie. The one
Well,
thing I was doing
they cut
online...
away.
The only thing I was doing online is checking to see if it was the same movie they were talking about on the radio.
Well, that's the one we went to see.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, in no way connected to the Nickelodeon show.
No.
Are You Afraid of the Dark? Very disappointed. Yeah, well, Patrick, what did you think of it?
Well, I don't know. I was kind of freaked out a bit. The couple scenes I just avoided watching, just sort of. Nope. So I didn't have to focus in on anything. But then I kind of got scared easy on that one, I'll be honest.
Yeah.
Overall, everything just sort of came together. It was kind of nice. There's no major screw-ups, I would think.
Yeah, Joe? Oh, wait, you pussied out. Jade, what'd you think of it?
I'm not talking right now since I'm behind the camera.
Wait, you saw it.
I did see it, but I'm not in.
Well, they can still hear you.
They can hear me, but
But this gets edited out.
yeah, I can edit this out if I want. So
Shouldn't edit it out.
Well, seeing as this is our first review, name of our group so far, we voted on it, but there seems to be some debate as to the vote. We are Plot, Dialogue, and Boobs. Every good movie has 2 of the 3.
I'm not okay with that.
I know you're not.
Well, it's a working title.
Hey, you're not talking right now. You're behind the camera.
I'll edit that in.
You know this?
Do you actually have cue cards? Wait.
Well, no, it's just the name of the actors and the main actors and the
Obviously, the movie wasn't
Their
memorable
characters.
enough to know the
no,
characters'
it was. I'm just
names.
terrible with names.
Alex. It's got ears.
Well, they're restoring this old house, which would belong to a very famous painter named Blackwood. Blackwood and his son were dragged away by fairy folk, and they're restoring the house. And their daughter comes from what city was it? L.A. or
It was LA, I believe, yes.
L.A.
Mm.
And she starts to see these fairy folk. However, she is very medicated on Adderall, and no one really believes her. And the movie just chronicles their wacky fun hijinks
Yeah,
with the
it's
fairies.
kind of like Comedy of Errors, in a way. Not like the actual play, but it's just everything that was done stupidly could have been, you know?
Now, I have a question. Did little girl bring this upon herself? Did she like open
She
some
totally
box?
did. Yeah.
She definitely did.
Was that in your review, Joe?
She broke open the gate holding them back.
Yeah,
She's pretty much stupid.
basically, it's this like weird looking house where like anyone walking by would be like, how is that
That's
house?
haunted.
How is that house not haunted? I'm
I
not even
think
walking
the
past
first thing
that.
I said was like, of course there's fairies. Like, how would they expect there not be fairies?
Like,
in
there's
yeah.
trees pretty much everywhere. Like, in the architecture, there's trees.
The doors, trees.
It wasn't at the bottom of the steps there was the freaky fairy face carved into the thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's at least a freaky witch like around.
Another question: are the fairies sentient, or are they just like mindless monsters? Do they
Well,
have
they-
any-
They're fairly intelligent in a way.
I wouldn't say they all have kind of the same personality. They're just, yeah, they like children's teeth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They don't enjoy adult teeth,
No. Too much
Yeah.
coffee and caffeine.
probably.
Mm.
Despair, more likely.
Yeah. But yeah, the little girl totally brings everything on herself. They didn't even know there was a basement to the house until she like pointed it out to them and finds it, then has them like break a hole in the wall, and then promptly lets out the fairies because, you know, they asked politely and they wanted to be her friend.
She'd probably, you know, a vampire comes up to her door. Could I come in? Sure, why not?
Another question: did the fairies ever negotiate a ceasefire with the Pope?
Yeah, they
My
talked about...
Christian review site said there's something to do with the Pope in it.
Yeah,
So.
they came to an agreement with the Pope.
I think
they
that
would
was the
separate.
coin, right?
Yeah.
The,
Oh.
Every tooth would be transferred for a coin. It was basically like a messed up version of the Tooth Fairy,
Okay.
except they eat teeth.
I wish they would have done more with things like that too, rather than, and like the kind of like myth behind it, rather than
Yeah.
just like, because that's where it gets really interesting when you think about
Seemed
the
like
origins of something
they were
like
just
that.
afraid of light and they just wanted teeth and there was really nothing else to their myth or mythos.
They're very simple motivations.
Yeah.
I feel like they're fairly
Yeah.
sympathetic characters.
I think what gives it more like depth is at the end where it's like you kind of discover that the reason they take someone down always is because they become one of like the
Spoiler alert!
So what you're saying is they try to be her friends,
Yeah.
and then she sees them, and then she finds out they're evil.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Pretty much just try to seduce her into coming into the basement.
Kind of sounds like My Last Girlfriend.
That was a dark time.
Yes. That's why I don't see scary movies anymore.
It was almost difficult to be afraid of the little fairies at times, just because their pretty much only weapon was to knock over lights. At one point, they just sort of switch off a light with like a little stick.
Hmm.
It's just like turn them back on, just a little bit.
She's just sort of flailing around in the bathroom, like, I don't know what I'm doing. Like, it's right there, just problem solved.
Yeah.
She spends the next, 10 minutes just being freaked out by a bunch of little angry people trying to stab her to death.
So could these things be killed, or were they
Yes,
just like...
they could. She killed one.
And no one had a shotgun in
Two
this
of them.
movie with birdshot
Two.
or anything? No one had like a weed whacker or something?
No, I really was thinking
Shocking, yeah.
flamethrower like the whole time.
Flame-
Like,
yeah,
the little-
like, they know where they live. You could have just, I don't know, taken a newspaper, balled it up, set it on fire, and just dropped
We
it.
really needed
Poured
Ripley in
gasoline
this movie.
in there.
I thought
Ripley?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I thought like a lot of the weaker points of it were that they weren't really that intimidating. Like the idea
Yeah.
of them was, and like
Yeah.
I think the more intimidating part was like in the beginning where it showed like the human kind of working for them.
That would have made an entirely different type of horror movie
Yeah,
if they had just
and-
focused on that front part.
And I thought that could be interesting, but them by themselves they weren't really like.
You just sort of, twisted in a weird way. It wasn't really
Yeah.
terrifying.
Spent a lot of the movie thinking it was going to do this thing like a Pan's Labyrinth or the Orphanage, where it was just going to leave it up to the viewer whether or not she's actually seeing these fairies or you know, or if it's just like her sickness or illness, if she even has one. No, they're
No.
fairies.
They're definitely there.
They're there.
Things happen.
Yeah. In a few words, let's sum up how we felt about the film and give our rating of it. You want to go first, Patrick?
Well, I felt it was fairly creepy, but overall it was good. So I guess, what, out of 5?
Mm-hmm.
3 out of 5, maybe 3.5.
Alright, felt it was good. Felt it wasn't a waste of my time. Very creepy at points. Good story, good feel. 3 neglectful fathers out of 5.
Okay. Well, for like visuals, I would probably give it a 4, but for actual story, I would go with like a 3. So like probably a 3.5. I thought actually the effects, just with the fairies in general, was like really good. And then a lot of like the art and the work on the house and just like the details they put into it were like pretty amazing.
The house did look amazing.
Yeah, the house was perfect.
Closing comments. If you're a horror fan, don't really get too many good horror films anymore. It's more just
Gore at this point.
Yeah, it's really torture porn now. So if you're a horror buff like I am, go see it. You won't be disappointed.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks for joining us on our first review. Take care.
Take care.
What the fuck else am I gonna say?
Subscribe.
Joe, what rating would you give it?
Having not seen,
From your Christian review site.
based from my Christian review site and the 2 trailers I watched, the clip of the soundtrack from the radio station, and the IMDb article, I would probably say on a scale of I want to see it and I don't want to see it, I would give it I don't want to see it.
How about we just close it out by us all waving and saying goodbye?
Waving? All of us?
Waving?
Yeah. Bye.
I don't like
That was terrible.
Let's try it again.
Okay, go
No,
again.
this is a private conversation.
The fans want to know.
No. Well, I'll do a special on My Little Pony, like anytime.
We could probably, if I see
We'll
2
squeeze
more
that in.
episodes,
Yeah.
we can just,
I still
Only
haven't seen
22
any of
minutes
it.
apiece.
yeah,
There's only 26 of them.
for now.
Yeah, for now. Oh, season 2's coming out
I
in
know,
September.
right?
Yeah. I'm so excited.
Do that again.
that's either here, here, or here, or here, depending
Subscribe to our channel now.
They looked kind of like that, like slightly humanoid rats.
Sounds like my last girlfriend.